Hey everyone, welcome to ISTQB Foundation exam question and answer series, and in this video I'm going to cover another 5 questions with detailed explanation so you can easily crack your ISTQB exam and understand these questions with detail. That will really help you in the exam and afterwards as well when you are in the projects, right? So the first question of this video, or question number 16 of this particular question set, says which of the following is a benefit of early and frequent stakeholder feedback, right? So what is the benefit of early and frequent stakeholder feedback? Out of these 4 options, we have to select one, right? So let's go through these one by one. So managers are aware of which developers are less productive. Is that the benefit of early and frequent stakeholder feedback? No, that's absolutely incorrect statement about stakeholder feedback. It allows project managers to prioritize their stakeholder interactions. Absolutely incorrect. That's not how project managers prioritize their stakeholder interactions, not through the frequent stakeholder feedbacks. That's not the purpose of it. It facilitates early communication of potential quality issues, right? So this is the clear answer. It facilitates. So early and frequent stakeholder feedback facilitates early communication of potential quality issues. That's the main benefit of the frequent stakeholder feedback, that any potential quality issues, UI, performance, anything, if the stakeholder is involved and they provide that feedback early and frequent, the team is able to get the potential quality issues very early. So C is the correct answer. Let's go to the D one and eliminate that as well. End users better understand why the delivery of the work product is delayed, right? So absolutely baseless statement. So C is the correct answer. Now moving to the next question of this particular video, question number 17. Now here you can see that we have couple of task descriptions, right? So given the following task descriptions and the following review activities. Okay, so there are 2 things that are mentioned. So task and the review activities. Then we have to map these tasks to the review activities. If you see below, which of the following best matches the task description and activities, right? So you have to find the best match of task description and the activity. So basically we first have to go through these tasks and then try to match with the activities. Now here I would like to mention one thing, that go through these tasks that you have here and go through these review activities. Out of 4, if you are able to find even 100% sure answer, go through these options and then try to eliminate the options that can be easily eliminated. Okay, so I'll show you how you can go ahead and achieve it. So the quality characteristics to be evaluated and the exit criteria are selected. That's the task. Everyone has access to the work product. Anomalies are identified in the work product. Anomalies are discussed. Okay, so now here these are the tasks for the review activities, and then the review activities are individual review, review initiation, planning, communication, and analysis. Okay, so now if we say, let's pick, say for example planning, what exactly best fits in the planning task of the review activities? So if we talk about the planning, does the first one, the quality characteristic to be evaluated and the exit criteria are selected, does that fit in really well? So looks like yes, this fits in really well with the planning, because during the planning of the review activities, the quality characteristics to be evaluated and the exit criteria are selected, right? So one can be easily mapped with C. So if you're 100% sure that this is absolutely correct, then you can easily go to the option and you can see that with one and C combination, only 2 options are there. So that means within C and D, you have to choose which one is the correct one, right? So that's how you eliminate 2 other options. Similarly, if we go, before we clearly say that this is the correct option or one of these is the correct option, let's go through one of those options as well. Okay, so everyone has access to the work product. That's the second one. So everyone has access to the work product is individual review. Can this be mapped to the individual review or review initiation or communication and analysis, right? So if we talk about communication and analysis, so anomalies are discussed. That is more close to what communication and analysis is. Okay, so clearly you can see that anomalies are discussed 4D. So now we can easily see that one was more correlated to C and 4 is absolutely correlated to D, right? So we are sure that out of C and D, only the option is, because I have concluded 2 tasks mapping to the review activities, right? So anomalies are discussion. Discussion is more of communication and analysis. So we can say 4 is mapping to D and then 1 is mapping to C, right? So 1 is mapping to C and 4 is mapping to D, and both C and D, you'll see that this is trickiness here. So both C and D have this clearly stated, right? So now still we haven't concluded the final answer because both of them are easy to identify. You can imagine here, right? So ISTQB exams are also make sure that you put little effort to figure out. So even though you excluded the 2 options, the top ones, still we have to figure out which one out of 2 and 3 is correctly the option, right? So if we talk about everyone has access to work product. Okay, so everyone has access to work product. That means the review initiation, right? So everyone having access. So before initiation, the people in the team should be having the work product access. That's the review initiation. Okay, and then if we talk about the third one, anomalies are identified in the work product. Okay, so the third one is more towards the review, right? So 3 is more mapping towards the review and 2 is more towards the initiation. So if we take other way around, everyone has access to work product. Does this make sense with the individual review? No. With the individual review, it is more of anomalies are identified in the work products. That's the review. But with the 2-1, everyone has access to work product. It is review initiation, right? So it's more of initiating. So that is why if we talk about now, so 3, so 1 C, right? And then 2 is B, and then 3 is A. Okay, and then 4 is D. So the correct answer is D and C is not the correct answer. So basically this is how you are going to perform or apply the elimination strategy. Figure out the 2 options, 1 options, whichever is. Sometimes it's really easy. With 1 option, you can easily be able to eliminate all others. But most of the time you will see that you have to figure out more than 2 options to find the correct answer. Okay, so D is the correct answer for this particular question. Okay, so now moving to the next one. Given the following roles in the reviews, again similar question. These are the roles: scribe, review leader, facilitator, manager, and the following responsibilities in the reviews. Now these are the responsibilities. A, B, C, D are the responsibilities of these roles in the reviews. Now which of the following best matches the roles and responsibilities? Now let's again apply similar strategy. So if you would have read and understood the course correctly and the syllabus correctly, you will understand what exactly the role of scribe is, who the review leader is, what will manager do in the reviews, what facilitator will do, right? Now if we talk about scribe, if we go through these options, right, ensures the effective running of review meetings and setting up a safe review environment. That's not the role of scribe. Records review information such as decisions and new anomalies found during the review meeting. That's the role of scribe. So we can say we can map 1 to B. Okay, and now if we go further down here, you will see that we can easily now, if we are 100% sure that 1 is mapped to B, then we can easily eliminate which 2 options? A and B we can easily eliminate. We don't need to look into these. Now we have to figure out of C and D which one is the correct answer. Okay, so if you just know 1 more maybe, so here 1, 2 also has D, so that is there as well. So we have to know more than 2 to conclude this particular answer. So now if we have 1 as B, right, so both options have 2 as D. Okay, so let's see, 2 is the review leader, and C, the D option, takes overall responsibility for the review such as organizing when and where review will take place. Absolutely correct. Okay, so now we are even more sure that yes, out of C and D only the answer is, because review leader takes overall responsibility, right? So now we just have to find about the facilitator and the manager. Okay, so facilitator ensures the effective running of review meetings and setting up a safe review environment. Okay, that's the correct answer for facilitator. Let's read the other one. C option, decides what is to be reviewed and provides resources such as staff and time for review. That's management activity. Okay, so now clearly we can see that for 3 it is A and for 4 it is C. So let's see which one is the correct option. So for 3 it is A and for 4 it is C. So basically D is not the correct answer. C is the correct answer for this particular one, and you just have to select one option, right? So that's how you are going to answer these particular question, and make sure you learn and understand the roles and responsibilities in these sort of question. Only then you will be able to solve. Otherwise it becomes really tricky to solve these sort of questions. Okay, so now moving to the next one. Which of the following statements best describes difference between decision table testing and branch testing? Okay, so what is the best description of the difference between decision table testing and branch testing? So let's go through these options, and you just have to select one option. So here, if you see, in decision table testing, the test cases are derived from decision statements in the code. In branch testing, the test cases are derived from knowledge of the control flow of the test object. Okay, in decision table testing, the test cases are derived from the specification that describes the business logic. In branch testing, the test cases are based on anticipation potential defects of the source code. In the source code, absolutely baseless statement. There is nothing which derives from the specification and the anticipation in the decision table or the branch testing. So basically, anticipation of potential defects, that's we can easily exclude. Now we are just left with three options. In decision table testing, the test cases are derived from knowledge of the control flow of the test object. In branch testing, test cases are derived from the specification that describes the business logic. No. So that's not how branch testing is done. Both are white box testing techniques, right? The branch testing is the white box testing technique. So it doesn't derive from the specification that describes the business logic. Now let's go to the last one. In decision table testing, the test cases are independent of how the software is implemented, right? In branch testing, test cases can be created only after the design or implementation of the code. This looks very close because decision table testing it doesn't care about how the software implementation is done. This is a black box testing, and branch testing is a white box testing. So this can be only created only after design and implementation of the code. So this looks very close. Let me mark it before I go to the first one and eliminate and see. In decision table testing, the test cases are derived from the decision statements in the code, right? Absolutely contradictory, right? So decision table testing is not a white box testing. So nothing code should be there. So this is also incorrect. So the correct answer is D. Decision table test cases are independent of how the software is implemented. In branch testing, which is white box testing technique, you can create test cases only after design or implementation of the code is done. Okay, so that's the correct answer for 19 or fourth question of this particular video. Now moving to the last question of this particular video, question number 20 overall. Customers of the test car wash chain have cards with the record of number of washes they have bought so far. Okay, so it's more of a car wash with the record. They have cards with the record wherein how many times they have gone to that particular car wash. The initial value, obviously, if a new customer, is 0. After entering the car wash, the system increases the number on the card by 1. Okay, so every car wash, the increment will happen, how many car washes the customer has done. This value represents the number of current wash. Okay, based on this number, the system decides what discount the customer is entitled to. Okay, so based on this number of washes the customer goes through, the discount is calculated for the customer. For every 10th wash, the system gives 10% discount, and for every 20th wash, the system gives further 40% discount, that is 50% discount. So 10 initial and then 50 total discount on every 20th wash. Okay, which of the following sets of input data understood as the numbers of the current wash achieves the highest equivalence partition coverage? Okay, now first thing here, in this sort of question, you first have to figure out the partitions, and then you have to go through and analyze this data set and see which data set provides the highest possible coverage in those partitions. Okay, so overall, if we talk about the partition, the equivalence partition here, so because they are talking about the percent discount, so we can easily go ahead and create the partitions for these discounts. Okay, so I can go ahead and say 0%, okay, 10%, and 50%, right? So that's basically the discount. Now, what usually the customer gets 10% 50% discount on every 10th wash. Okay, so basically if we talk about here, for 0, so basically if a customer comes in, so usually they have a value 0, right? So if it is, first wash, so if we can say, okay, first wash, right, up to 9th wash, they don't get any discount. So they are in this partition, 0% discount, right? But if they are, that's the 10th wash, okay, so that is 10% discount, right? Now again, the 11th wash, no discount, right? So every 10th wash, you will see here, every 10th wash, right? So that means again, if it is 11th wash for the customer, up to 19th wash, no discount, right? That means no discount. But if it is 20th wash, every 20th wash, then which partition they come in, they get more discount, which is further 40%. That means total 50% discount. So that means 20th wash, basically the number 20 will get 50% discount. Then again, 21st wash, there is no such condition wherein 21st wash will again come to a discount, right? So 21st to 29th, again 0%, right? As soon as it reaches 30th wash, that means another 10 washes. So again 10% on 30th wash. Then again 31st to 39 is again 0%, right? And as soon as it's 40th, that means every 20th. So every 20th twice is 40. So that is again 50% discount, right? So that's how you have to figure this out. Now we know the numbers basically. Out of these numbers, now we first have to have this input data. We analyze this input data and then see which of these options best or cover the max number of partitions, which is covering all 3 or which is covering 2 or just 1. So if the data set out of 1 to 4 or A to D covers all 3 partitions, right? Let's see if there is any data set which covers all 3 partitions or 2 partitions, which is covering the maximum partition, right? So in these options, they could have just mentioned about the numbers 1, 9, 10, or 1, 8, 5, or 21 or 31, just the partitions, just the numbers that are covering just the 0% discount, right? Or these options could have numbers that are covering all 3 partitions. So the question they are asking is which numbers out of these, which options out of these cover the highest equivalence partition, right? So let's go through these options. A, 19, 20 and 30. Okay. So 19 covers 0%, right? Then we have 20. Okay. So 20 covers 50%. And then we have 30, right? So 30 covers 10% as well, right? So all 3 partitions are being covered with this A option. Let's go to the B. Okay. So let's mark it. Looks like this will be the highest one because it's covering all 3. Then we go to the B option. B says 11, 12 and 20. Okay. So we have 11, which is 0. 12 is again 0, right? And 20 is 50, but this partition is missed, right? So this set doesn't cover the set B doesn't cover which partition? It doesn't cover partition 10% one, right? So it does not cover. So this is only covering 2 partitions. This was covering 3 partitions. Now going to the C option, 1, 10 and 50. So 1 is here, 10 is covering this, okay? And then again 50, where will 50 come? So 1 will come here, 10 will come here, 39, and then 40 will be here. So 40 and then 41 to 49 will be again 0, and then 50 will be again 10%, right? 50 is again 10% because it's every 10th wash, right? So here, if we talk about 1 is covering 0%, 10 is covering 10%, and 50 is again covering 10%. So this is also covering only 2 partitions, right? It's not covering which one? It's not covering the 50% partition. Okay, so it's not covering 50% partition. Then D, option D, which is 10, 29, 30 and 31. So 10 is covering this one, 29 is covering 0, 30 is covering again 10, and 31 is again 0, right? So all 3 options, if you see, first one, which is A, is the only one, the test set or the test input that covers all 3 partitions. Okay. So it covers all 3 partitions that we have come up with, right? And this doesn't cover, this doesn't cover, this doesn't cover. These 3 set only cover 2 partitions. Okay. So that is why this particular option A, is the correct answer for this question on equivalence partition. partition coverage. Now this is very useful on the ground when you are actually in the projects and designing your test cases and data to get the best coverage, right? So this exam, it's not only going to help you, just don't think of it as just passing the exam, but also learning, because this is something which will help you to build your skills and excel in your testing career. Okay, so that's all for this particular video. This video was a little long because of this particular question, but I wanted to explain things in detail so it becomes really easy for you around equivalence partition questions and how you're going to answer those. But make sure don't take this much time. I am explaining this, that's why it took that long, but otherwise you just create these partitions and quickly fill these values, and you will be able to figure out that easily, that all others are just covering 3 partitions and this set is covering all 3, all others are covering 2 partitions, only first one is covering 3 partitions. So basically this is the highest equivalence partition coverage. Okay, so that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next video with another 5 ISTQB Foundation exam questions with detailed explanation. Thank you. See you in the next one.